Hey everybody, I'm Kelsey from SCP Weekly and SCP Unredacted. I wanted to say how incredibly proud I am to be a part of a community that comes together to help each other in the way the SCP community does. We recently invited Dr. Gears to SCP Weekly to talk about his GoFundMe and the support he and his family need to help get their feet back under him. As of the day I'm recording this, it's been less than a week, and this community has pushed that fundraiser to over 80% of what the Gears family need to literally keep a roof over their heads. For what it's worth, I'm incredibly proud of you, and Gears is extremely grateful, to say the least. In that spirit of gratitude and in an effort to bolster the already astonishing outpouring of support, Dr. Gears is developing a TTRPG campaign, and we're going to share it with you. Cassie, Nolan, myself, and another incredible SCP author, Phantom, are currently developing character backstories and getting ready for a session 0 of Dr. Gears Presents The Dark World, A Ballad of Oaths and Ashes. Get ready to follow the campaign on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Those channels will be up by the end of September, and a Patreon that will offer interaction with the campaign and whose funds will go to support Dr. Gears and his family. Now close your eyes and listen as Dr. Gears describes the Dark World in his own words.
When does the world end? When the last living thing falls to dust, the stones of its bones dissipates into the void? Or is death, like that of people, a thing of the soul more than the body? Is the end a simple flash of nothing, or is it the long, slow march through the last door? Some say this world is ending, and it may well be so, but it is a beginning of endings, the turning on to the path that cannot again be turned from. The end began more than 200 years ago, though time and its counting, like so much now, is more a matter of faith than truth. A darkness arose in the north, or the south, or the depths, perhaps all of them, truly. Whispers of black dreams, of impossible visions, of the dead leaving their graves, not from hunger, but from fear. Wise men, first dismissive, slowly started to listen as more and more strangeness seeped into the world. When the rain of runes came, they all listened. Rain was a black, oily seep that seemed to pour over the whole world at once. Oozing, slimy drops poured from a tortured sky, billowing from nowhere and vanishing just as swiftly the next day. When the rain touched, plants would wither, beasts would go mad. It sizzled over the stone and left the skin red and blistered. Now, the worst were the runes. When the rain fell, it left behind smears and marks, twisted glyphs in no known tongue, which hurt the mind and eye to see like fishhooks drawn over a fingernail. None could read them, somehow all understood. A sense deeper than language spoke through the slashed, swirling runes. You are mine. Panic was, as one may imagine, rapid. Fingers pointed, words declared and retracted, answers sought. With the rain and the madness and bizarre, unknown evil seemed to rise each day like a hellish tide. Still, even then, the beings of the world squabbled and bickered. Rats, each fighting to be the highest part of the sinking ship. Nor simple hate and fear lashed against that which they could reach and touch. Even some simply ignored the building horror. They would survive, they would die. They don't need to worry over either. The nameless God, the eternal indifference, the gray horror, the nightmare of the void. These were and are names. They may or may not apply to what came for the world. Names spoken in a million tongues, try and chain some unknowable nightmare to the realities of words and titles. Against these words, armies, monsters, and heroes arose. Battles won and lost, glory and betrayal. But these are such ephemeral things. The simple truth, found in blood in a terribly lonely place, was that something was coming to swallow the world. That all the horror and madness was the wake that runs before a whale. That it had already sunk its teeth, portions of itself, into the world to squeeze, to eat, and strangle. What's more, it could not be undone. What are you willing to lose to survive? Your money? Your home? Family? What about your eyes? Your tongue? Which limbs are you willing to give up? A simple equation solved by necessity by so many. Likely death or certain death. Choices had to be made. Better a chance to close a wound than simply cut a throat. The lurking horror could not be undone, but it could be ripped away like a parasite torn from the body. However, there where this would save the world, it would leave a taint, a bleeding wound from elsewhere. Knife to the belly or bullet to the head. The simple pragmatism of the gutter rat determined the fate of the world. There was fire, smoke, horror, light, and a scream that is said to still echo in the bones of the world forever. Then it was done. That stage, that symptom was indeed done. Time was past, and as with humans have failed to heal the wounds of the world. The strangeness, the shadows, they seem to draw close with each passing year. Fog rolls and swallows kingdoms. Strangers of strange garb and words come from places with no known city. Ruins appear in the midst of storms, drop like hailstones from unknown skies. Towers can burst like mushrooms from the ground, already crumbling and moldering with age. Monsters, the likes of which have never been seen before, seem to appear as if they had always been there. People fear, whatever their color or creed. They appeal to the gods, or bottles, or flesh. Whatever brings peace, whatever seems sane. Madness has become the new flu, as easily acquired and passing as swiftly. In this there is still life, even prosperity. Those willing to probe the strange mists and warped tunnels, much bounty can be found. The need and desire to understand has bred a pragmatic soul. A simple oath, often said before, but now embraced all the more so. What is done in the dark stays in the dark. These strange places are haunted by the desperate, the lost, and the mad, living on the fringe between this world and another, darting like birds diving for fish. Good, evil, these are labels, shallow things with no more weight than the breath that speaks them. There's action and inaction. Better to be doing something than nothing. The dark is no longer something that comes with the fall of the sun, or the dying of a candle. It's a place you can point to on a map. It is the foggy shapes in the high peaks. It is the basement stair that did not exist yesterday, existing before you with all the dread promise of a tiger's smile.